Joining me is the country's top foreign affairs writer, Greg Sheridan of The Australian. Greg, great to see you. You've written about this in The Australian today as well. This vote, Wong says it's a vote towards a peace solution. Is she right?
No, Andrew. I think the whole government bears collective responsibility for this, and it goes to the character of the government at the moment. It's entirely reactive, it has no traction, and it just makes completely transactional decisions based on the lowest common denominator in domestic politics. Any two-state solution between Israel and the Palestinians can only come about when the two parties negotiate reasonable borders and a promise to safeguard each other's securities. In other words, Palestinians have to put an end to all claims on Israel and have to reject terrorism permanently and credibly. Now, I say 4 times in history, Israel has made the maximum offer to the Palestinians. I get to the figure of 4 by including the initial United Nations partition, which was supposed to have 2 states, Palestine and Israel. And each time these offers have been met by waves of Palestinian terrorism and sometimes Arab invasion. For the moment, therefore, Israelis think a 2-state solution is off the cards. But for anyone to think you can impose a 2-state solution out of that, with, as you say, Hamas dedicated to the physical destruction of Israel, Fatah not much different, and both parts of Palestine inciting tremendous anti-Semitic hatred, it's absurd. It just gives a win to Hamas, who, as you said, loves this resolution. They can say to the Palestinian people, look, we may have caused you immense suffering and blood and loss, but we advanced the Palestinian national cause in a way that no one else did. So this has validated our tactics. It's a sign of weakness internationally. It goes against not only the US and Britain, but most of our South Pacific partners voted either against this resolution or abstained from it. And it's a tremendously disappointing development with the Albanese government, because I think it indicates the abdication of any sense of decent foreign policy out of this government.
Well, my own column this morning, I don't think I've ever had a stronger reaction to a column. The outrage, getting up to 2,500 comments. The one excuse that apologists give for Wong that I can see is 143 countries, including Australia, voted yes to this recognition, or getting the Security Council to recognise it. America will veto it, but anyway. Just 9 countries, including the US, voted against it, and 25 abstained, including Britain. And they say, oh, well, this proves that Wong is right to vote yes, is she?
No, what this proves, Andrew, is that at the United Nations there is a built-in Arab-African majority. There are dozens and dozens of Arab and North African and other Muslim states. There is one Jewish state. So most nations at the United Nations make the same sort of tawdry, cynical calculation. They say, well, look, we're going to get 100 dislikes if we vote in favour of Israel and 100 likes if we vote with the Muslim terrorists. So let's vote with the Muslim terrorists. And a lot of governments know they're doing the wrong thing, but they go along to get along. It's the path of least resistance. It means they're not singled out. But Australia has always been different from that. We take a values-based approach to foreign policy, and with our partners, the United States and Britain, our closest strategic allies, we try to act according to some principle. And ever since the foundation of Israel, we've had a bipartisan position that a 2-state solution is preferred, but it can only come about with the the successful negotiation between the two parties. What Labor has done now, and this is intensely irresponsible, is divide Australia along partisan religious lines. So almost all the Muslims are anti-Israel. Most of them are not very fanatical about the issue. Iranian Muslims, Horn of African Muslims, Turkish Muslims are much less upset about this issue than Arab and North African Muslims. But in any event, they're all anti-Israel. Most of them are anti-Israel. There's 100,000 Jews. So there are more votes in the Muslim corner than in the Jewish corner. And the Albanese government has now scorched a line of sectarian division right down the middle of Australia because they've taken the Muslim position against the Jewish position. They would say they're against confessional politics, but that's what they've effectively done. Labor now sides with the Muslim community. The coalition now sides with the Jewish community. This is a despicable, terrible, destructive path for Australia to walk down. And we walk down it for one reason only, the Albanese government's tawdry calculation about voter politics. And I'd say, Andrew, it's not even appeasing the 800,000 or more Muslims. It's appeasing potential Greens voters in the inner city seats, the same kind of people who voted, for the voice of Gaza in the British Council elections. The dopey, ahistorical, uneducated university students and graduates, I say uneducated and graduates in the one sentence quite advisedly, who might vote against Labor because the Greens are more anti-Israel. But if that's Labor's rationale, it's pathetic.